Welcome back, smart mathematicians. We're doing question 5.2. We're given the function f of x is equal to -1 over x minus 3 plus 2. We say that this is a hyperbola. Write down the domain of f. So now, where do we get the domain? Right, domain, these are the input values, which are your x values, and then the range is your y values. Okay, right, let me just discuss both the domain and the range. So now remember we said that in question 5.1, our asymptotes is x is equal to 3 for the vertical asymptote, and y is equal to 2 in the for the horizontal asymptote, right? And then remember that the graph does not exist on the asymptotes, or is undefined on the asymptotes. The graph will approach the asymptotes but will never touch or intersect those asymptotes. Okay, so for the domain, which are the x values, you can say x an element of real numbers. Okay, but x cannot be equal to 3, so x is not equal to 3. Okay, right? Or you can say, okay, or you write like this and say x an element of from negative infinity up to 3 not included, so we use the round bracket. Okay, or from 3 not included to infinity. Okay, this one will understand better when we have a sketch. Let's just have a sketch. I will ignore the intercepts. I'll just use the shape and the asymptotes. Okay, right. I think we're going to sketch the graph maybe on question 5.5 or something like that. Okay, right. Let me just use the shape and the asymptotes here. Right. We say the vertical asymptote is x equal to 3. This is x is equal to 3. And then the horizontal asymptote, y is equal to 2. Y is equal to 2. Now this graph, A is negative, means it is in the second quadrant and fourth quadrant. Okay, like this. And then I'll just ignore the intercepts. We're going to talk about the x and y intercepts when you're sketching the graph. Now I want to discuss just the domain and maybe range. But the question is about the domain. Okay, it's about the domain. So we're saying the domain, these are the x values, can be from negative infinity. Remember, the negative infinity is this side and positive infinity is this side. Right, so from negative infinity up to 3 there, but 3 cannot be included. So that's why I'm saying x here is an element of negative infinity up to 3. Then 3 is not included. Then we jump. This is a discrete graph. You see that it appears this side on the left hand side of the asymptotes of the vertical asymptote. Then it appears again on the on the right hand side of the vertical asymptote. So from here going to infinity, saying x element of of from 3 to infinity. So that's why we have that. Okay. Oh, it's just simple. The simpler way, I find this one very easy. We're just saying x is less than 3 or x greater than 3. Just that. Can you write like that? X less than 3 or x greater than 3. Okay, you don't need to write all these notations. Just pick the one that you find easy to understand. Okay, I will not ask about the range, but remember range is what? Y values. So you can say y is less than 2 or y greater than 2. Okay, and then you can also write these other notations and say y element of negative infinity up to 2 or 2 to infinity. Okay, right? Or you can say y element of real numbers, but y is not equal to 2. Okay, you can do that. So the answer here, what was the domain for f? It can be this. You can write like this or like this or like this. Okay, so we're going to meet when we're doing question 5.3.